The gender pay gap. You've heard of it. You've seen the statistics. We've passively seen it been accepted into our society. But I've got a new solution. I want to apologise to all the men in this room. There's been an expectation and pressure on you to fix the gender pay gap, when why should you? It doesn't even affect you. Therefore, I propose we shift the perspective of the solution. Us women have the tool of multiple years of injustice to drive us to change from within in order to eradicate the gender pay gap. And that's what I suggest we do. But firstly, to debunk some common myths, that the term the gender pay gap is roughly equivalent to the term equal pay. As you can see, the gender pay gap is a simplistic method to measure the ratio of men to women in a firm and how senior they are. This is shown by the percentage difference of the total salaries paid to men in a singular firm and the total salaries paid to women. Whereas the colloquial term equal pay refers to the differential between what a man and a woman with the same human capital doing the same work in the same firm will get paid. In fact, a firm in the UK not having equal pay is illegal due to the 2010 Equality Act. In order to find a solution to a problem, it makes it easier to partition the problem into its components. And for the gender pay gap, these are A, not enough women entering specific high-paying industries, and B, once they've entered these industries, not increasing their salaries by pay rises and promotions. So far in my talk, I've been discussing the gender pay gap as a whole. But in order to be as authentic and realistic as possible, I realized there was no way I could find a specific solution to such a vast problem. I mean, talk to me in 10 years, you never know. So behind me, you can see a list of the industries with the highest gender pay gaps in descending order. And today, I'm going to be zooming in on two of the industries with some of the three highest gender pay gaps: finance and insurance, and professional, scientific, and technical services. So the first component of the gender pay gap is relating to balancing the ratio of men to women in specific industries. As if more women enter industries, the ratio balances, more salaries get paid to women, and so the gender pay gap decreases. I'm going to talk about this component of the gender pay gap within the professional, scientific, and technical services industry. So let me ask you this. What do you think you need to enter in an industry like the professional, scientific, and technical services one? I'm going to take an educated guess and say lots of you thought it was something to do with STEM. According to Times Higher Education, 4% more women graduated with degrees than men. Yet, as you can see, there are noticeable discrepancies of women taking STEM degrees. Okay, well, to take STEM degrees, you need STEM A-levels. So let's take a look at that. With the exception of biology, it is clear there are still so many more men taking STEM A-levels than women. So then it is reasonable to deduce there's an issue in the education system and with them pushing females to enter into STEM subjects. So how can we solve this? TEDxFran is a UK-based charity that aims to alter the statistic of only 27% of A-level and university-aged women currently considering a career in tech. To do this, they create interactive lessons for girls aged 8 to 14 to inspire them to love tech from the youngest age. This has a hopeful knock-on effect that if they have their newfound love for tech, it will carry on to their A-levels, degrees, and then careers. But that's not the best part. This all comes at no cost, meaning that all girls can access the scheme, no matter their background. This is key to increasing the successfulness, as if more girls can access it, they're reaching more of their target demographic, which increases the probability of decreasing the 25.2% gender pay gap. But TEDxFran goes one step further. They realize that multiple adults have loads of different career paths, and to accommodate for this, they run career conversion courses for women wanting to enter into tech later on in life and teaching them the key skills they need. This is vital for resolving the gender pay gap in the short run, as only in the long run can the number of girls taking STEM A-levels and degrees substantially change. The second component of the gender pay gap relates to women increasing their salaries when they already have entered their industries. This is particularly prominent in the industry with the highest gender pay gap, finance and insurance. According to the London Institute of Banking and Finance, the finance industry is made up of 40% of women, yet they represent only 23% of executive committees and just 20% on boards. This shows an obvious cause of the gender pay gap. As you can see behind me, it is reasonable to assume that this is because women are not assertive. And what I mean by this is there is a lack of women venturing away from the career trajectories laid out by them by the more senior, probably male colleagues. Instead, they do what they've always been nurtured to do since they were young. Be nice, or in other words, be quiet and don't make a fuss. However, whilst us women are constantly complacent in the workplace, most males go ahead and do what they've been wired to do since they were young. Be aggressive, or in other words, go after the pay rises and promotions with no apologies, earning them the higher salaries and increasing the gender pay gap even further. So the overall problem is there's a lack of women having the outwards confidence to go after what they desire and deserve in the forms of promotions and pay rises to decrease the gender pay gap by increasing their pay. When I was looking at charities that are aiming to change this aged way of nurturing girls, I came across this charity in Manchester called Girls Out Loud. The one scheme that they do that I'm going to focus on today is their Big Sister program. This is where they set up 13-year-old girls for a 12-month program with females from all walks of life that have been good role models for these girls and been successful in their industries. I viewed this scheme as very successful, as if young girls have the chance to see what they have the ability to achieve and how it is possible to be on those 20% of boards and executive committees and break that glass ceiling. Hopefully this will inspire a new generation of girls to push those boundaries and turn that 20% into the rightful 50%. So the bottom line is that the majority of things in life filter back down to what you learn in your formative years. Jane Austen couldn't write without learning the alphabet. Pythagoras could not derive a squared plus b squared equals c squared without learning 1 plus 1 equals 2. So this is what I'm suggesting. We need to transform what young girls think they have the ability to achieve in order to make the next generation of women yearn to break the boundaries and turn the gender pay gap into a thing of the past. Thank you.